My husband and I have two daughters, Erica 23 and Sarah 25. Much to my disappointment, they've never gotten along. Even as kids, they were always fighting. I'd always hoped they would grow out of it, but it never happened. I tried very hard to encourage them to grow together, as it's always my wish for them to be best friends and take care of each other when I'm gone. Unfortunately, nothing worked, and they seemed bent on hating each other. Some backstory. When Sarah moved out for college, she stopped talking to Erica entirely. This seemed really harsh to me, and I told her that. During this time, I grew closer with Erica as she was still at home, and Sarah seemed to want nothing to do with us. We were both hurt by Sarah's actions. When Erica went to college, Sarah appeared to make an effort to get along with her, and I was excited. But something happened. Sarah said that Erica was bullying her and blocked her on her phone. Erica told me that Sarah had blocked her, so I texted Sarah demanding to know why. Sarah said that Erica was name-calling her and blowing up her phone. I told Sarah she needed to get over it because family is family, and you can't just block family for no reason. It seemed very immature to me, and I was very annoyed. It's been about 2 years, and Sarah hasn't had a relationship with Erica since. Every time I see Sarah, I try to remind her that Erica loves her and tell her about the realities of the situation, that Sarah's successful, and Erica just gets jealous sometimes. But unfortunately, Sarah always seems upset when I bring up Erica and gets moody. Sarah's now getting married. At Sarah's engagement party, to which Erica was not invited, which disappointed me, I told Sarah that Erica was happy for her, but it was hard for her to have her sister be successful like this. Sarah seemed annoyed and brushed me off. Since the party, I've been trying to get a straight answer from Sarah about whether Erica's invited to the wedding. I brought it up a few times when Sarah talked about the wedding, and she ignored me. Eventually, she snapped at me and said that she hadn't had a relationship with Erica in many years, and she didn't know, quote, why you would expect her to be there. I was horrified. I believe Sarah's childish, vengeful antics have gone too far. You just don't treat family like this. Not inviting them to your wedding? My heart is broken, as I want them to care for each other, and I don't know why they refuse to do so. I want nothing to do with the wedding at this point. I'll attend, but I have no desire to help a daughter who treats family like this. I feel like Sarah's just asking me to pick between her and her sister, and I want nothing to do with it. My husband thinks I might be being a little harsh, but Erica agrees with my decision. Am I the idiot for refusing to pick between my daughters and not supporting my oldest decision not to invite her sister to the wedding? You are the idiot. Blocking family for no reason. She gave you a very detailed list of reasons. Why are you always making excuses for one child and brushing off all the issues of your other one? You often mention that you've encouraged your older daughter to be more respectful. However, you've mentioned exactly 0 times you've corrected your younger daughter's behavior or expected her to be nicer to her sister. Why is that? It's so pathetic that OP is playing dumb about not understanding why Sarah hates Erica. There's willful ignorance and there's denial. This is definitely the latter. She says she doesn't want to get involved in their fights, but she really means that she refused to do her job as a parent and expected shared DNA to fix all relationship problems. Now that she's reaping what she sowed, she's going all surprise Pikachu face. Makes me wonder what other issues the girls must have due to her ill-fit parenting. Wait, at Sarah's engagement party, rather than congratulating her, you told her it was hard for Erica to see her be successful? And you don't understand why you're the idiot? Erica seems to be your golden child for whatever reason. You need to butt out because your favoritism is not helping and will only push Sarah away from you. Yeah, OP's blaming Sarah for being more successful than Erica. That is a very bizarre take on the situation. Lady, it sounds like you're completely blind to your baby's faults, and you blame all the friction on the old one who should know better. But your younger daughter is persistently bratty and entitled, and you enabled this all the way. I wouldn't bet on your older daughter being desperately upset if you decided not to support the wedding. She's had no support from you so far in life, so why change now? I, 45 male, have a daughter, teen, Amy, and my wife, Amy's stepmother, 40, Diane, has recently taken issue with Amy. Diane does not respect Amy's privacy and has recently done a lot to invade it. She constantly barges into Amy's room and demands to check her phone frequently. I've told Diane she can't do this without asking Amy or me first, but she says she's as much Amy's mother as I am her father. 2 days ago, Diane went into Amy's room when she was at school and looked through Amy's diary. Her diary has a lock on it and was hidden, so I'm not sure how Diane got into it. When I returned from work, I found Amy in tears and my wife screaming at her, calling her disgusting names. When she saw me, she ran over to me, telling me that she'd read Amy's diary and found out she was gay and calling her names. I shouted at Diane for invading Amy's space because she knows teenagers need privacy and that her diary is necessary for her recovery. The therapist recommended she write down her feelings to help her anxiety. I got very angry, but Diane told me I should kick Amy out or send her to a conversion therapy course. I told her to get out, and after I threatened to call the police, she left. I'm receiving many calls from the family saying Diane is worried about Amy's future. I told them Diane was disgusting. Diane is very angry with me and told me she wants to take a break. Did I escalate the situation by kicking her out? Am I the idiot? Diane's stuff would be packed in on the front porch by the time the day was done if it was me. Diane is a witch, plain and simple. She's proven that she doesn't respect your position as husband or father. She certainly doesn't respect your daughter and her boundaries. She's shown her true colors by using homophobic slurs regarding your daughter and thinks there's something wrong with Amy? Not the idiot, OP. You absolutely did the right thing. You are an incredible dad and stood by your daughter. Kicking Diane out is step 1, and asking for a divorce is step 2. I don't think divorce should be invoked lightly, but dude, come on. Diane sounds like an awful person, and you have to protect your daughter. I mean, conversion therapy? But how long has she been invading Amy's privacy? It sounds like this isn't the first time she's busted into Amy's diary. I wonder how many under-the-radar type things she's done or said to or directed at your daughter over the years. Continue to protect your child at all costs. Get rid of that woman immediately. I cannot emphasize enough how much that experience will affect your daughter. I used to write about my late mom to cope with her loss, and later found out that my grandma would go through my room while I was gone and go through my journals. I'm still angry at my dad for not doing more about it, and I haven't been able to write about my feelings in the same way since. For the last 6 months, my 25 female girlfriend, Molly, 26, started with a joke that I've already made clear that I don't like. It consists of her saying no quickly to anything I ask. I ask her to get a glass of water for me. She says no. And after 1 minute, I'm almost getting up. She says she's joking and gets some water. I ask her to wash dishes. She says no. I say, I love you, but she says no. I ask her to take her clothes. She says no. Everything is joking. And after the 30 seconds to a minute, she does it. But she's addicted to saying no first. I've already made it clear several times that I don't like it. Even more so with the I love you. She's the only person I can say that to, so it's special to me. And there are serious things that I need her to answer seriously. And if she says no to everything jokingly, I can't tell when she's saying a real no. It's already happened. I keep saying this is boring and I don't like it. She stops doing it and goes back to doing it after a week. Finally, after a brief discussion, because she played this prank in front of our friends, me asking, "Love, can you get me some medicine?" and she with, "No, but kidding." She stopped doing it for 1 month. Yesterday, we welcomed my parents, in-laws, and our 2 best friends to our house. Everyone knew that I was going to propose to her, and I called them because we had always planned this proposal with our loved ones attending, participating in this special day. I asked her to marry me, and she said a quick no. And I was so grumpy and panicked and upset, everyone looking in shock for 30 seconds for her to laugh and say she was joking, finally saying yes. I was so embarrassed and disappointed. I put the ring box back in and said I'd take it out to cool off. I didn't even let her say anything. She kept texting me, no answering calls, saying it was just a joke, and I knew she always did that. She said that I left a difficult situation in the house because it was obvious that I had given up on proposing and did it in front of my parents and my in-laws. She stressed that I made the situation uncomfortable because of a silly joke. Well, I slept in a hotel and I'm still in it. My parents supported me, but my in-laws called me an idiot for giving up on proposing disproportionately humiliating their daughter. I just really think there's time for jokes, and that moment wasn't clear. She knew I didn't like it and decided to do it anyway. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your girlfriend just learned a much-needed lesson on why you don't joke and say no when you mean yes. And you're not making the situation uncomfortable because of a silly joke. She is. She knows you don't like it. And honestly, who would? That would annoy the crap out of most people. But she did it anyway. What's next? Is she gonna say no during your ceremony, jokingly? This whole thing, saying no immediately, was a thing kids did in the 90s. I remember it because I was a kid in the 90s. You would be like, no, kidding, and then laugh because you were single digits old. How is an adult doing this, and why do they think it's funny? Not the idiot, but why would you sign up for this permanently? Seriously, I would overthink this whole relationship. Girlfriend will not change. Girlfriend does not respect your boundaries and feelings. She's shown you who she is, believe her. Then move on and find someone who does. Out of all the things that are wrong from her side, one that stands out to me the most is that afterward, she still puts the blame on you and doesn't even apologize. If you see that your partner is hurt by something you did, yes, even a joke, any well-adjusted human being would apologize. Also, if other people aren't laughing, I wouldn't call it a joke. And you're correct to think there's a time and a place for jokes. I can imagine how hurtful and embarrassing it was to hear the no to your proposal in front of your family. Such an idiot move. I, teen female, will admit I have and always will have a close relationship with my mom, 40. She's truly a fantastic woman. She has a great job and is honestly beautiful. Yet about a year ago, we found out my dad, 42, is having an affair with a woman who's now 26. She's only 10 years older than me. She and I have less of an age gap than my dad and she does. Even though upset, my mom has never trash-talked my dad. I'm so upset though. It would have been one thing for him to ask for a divorce. Instead, he cheated with someone much younger than him. He and his affair moved out about 2 hours away. I've seen him about 5 times since this happened a year ago. I act pleasant when I see them, but things are awkward, and my dad's and my relationship is clearly strained. So my dad's affair partner's pregnant. He called me yesterday and asked if I wanted to attend the gender reveal party next weekend. I told him no. He asked why. I said I didn't want to talk about it. He kept pushing me, saying how the baby would be my little sibling. Finally, I got annoyed and went off. I told him how it would have been one thing for him to get a divorce from my mom, but he didn't have the guts for that. So instead you have an affair. So no, I'm not going to accept your little affair baby as a sibling. He called me an immature brat. He later texted my mom complaining about how immature I am and how I need to grow up and accept that, his mistress name, and the baby will be a part of my family. Am I the idiot? Oh wow, he has a lot of nerve to claim that you're immature, seeing as he had an affair with someone closer to your age than his. What exactly did he think was going to happen? Not the idiot. He didn't just cheat on your mother. He cheated on you too. He doesn't get to call you an immature brat when he chooses intimacy over you. He's only visited you 5 times and he lives only 2 hours away? What is he, British? My sister lives 2 hours away and we hang out at least once a month for a full fun weekend. Even if you wanted to accept your new half-sibling, you'd undoubtedly see them less since your dad barely makes an effort to see you anyways, and you're only about 2 years shy of becoming an adult. You don't have time to have a relationship with them, especially not how your dad made it. OP, if your father's anything like mine, which, based on the cheating and calling you a brat, sounds like he is, you will be asked to babysit for free whenever you're around. This child would be born soon before you legally become an adult. You're not going to have any relationship with your father's new family that you don't choose, and it sounds like you're not interested in having them in your life. That's perfectly fine. Can I make a suggestion? I know you're upset, but I highly recommend learning to laugh at him. LOL, he thinks you want a relationship with him when he's barely tried? LOL, he thinks you want the woman he cheated with in your life? LOL, he thinks you give a darn about his affair, baby? What a joke. Your dad's a joke, Treat him like one. Get therapy for yourself to work through the pain, but laugh in that man's face because he is hilarious for thinking he's still got any influence over you after this. My 29 female partner J, 31 male, wants me to include his best friend H, 36 female, as a bridesmaid in our wedding. H and I used to get along a couple of years ago, but she told J that she didn't like me a while back. I've never been rude to H, and I'm always polite and civil when she's over, especially for J's sake because I know that H is one of J's closest friends. I still talk to her and say hi and bye, but I don't class her as a friend, especially when she's polite to me but'll talk about me, saying how she doesn't like me behind my back. Jay and I recently got engaged, and we're currently fighting because he wants H to be a bridesmaid at our wedding, but I don't want her to be. I don't want someone to input opinion and be part of my hen's night, especially if she doesn't like me, because I want our wedding and the time leading up to it to be drama-free, and I know it'll just cause drama having someone who doesn't like me as part of my bride's party. Jay keeps insisting on getting H's opinions and not my friends, who I want as a part of my wedding party, and he keeps getting angry and treating me like I'm the idiot for this. I've told Jay that if he wants her opinion to make her part of his wedding party, he won't. I then said we could possibly wait until closer to the wedding date to see if H and I become friends again, but I honestly don't feel as if that'll happen. I am starting to feel a bit like an idiot because it is his wedding, and maybe I should just put up with it for his sake. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but it sounds like Jay values H's feelings more than he does yours. Are you certain there's nothing romantic there? The sudden turnaround of H being friendly to not liking you almost seems like you were maybe fine when things were casual, but she got jealous once you and Jay got serious. If he's gonna stress you out about your wedding, but prioritize his bestie, this sets the tone for your entire marriage. Are you sure you want to be the second best to your husband? It doesn't even have to be romantic for there to be that jealous angle. Some people just hate it when they aren't someone's number one priority. This should be something people leave behind as they grow up, because they learned that they can't be possessive over people, but some people are still stuck in it. Sure, it's his wedding too. However, she's his friend, not yours. Honestly, what kind of partner would do this? Try to convince their SO to have a person that doesn't care about them to be their bridesmaid? OP, your partner doesn't sound kind, and it sounds like a big deal. He's keeping that friend that talks badly of you and forces them on you. He's not respecting any of your boundaries. I suggest you reflect on your relationship in its entirety. How does he treat you? Reflect and don't make excuses for him. Loving people don't need to be excused for their behavior all the time. I, 30 female, and my ex-husband, 31 male, divorced 5 years ago. During our divorce, we owned an old single-wide mobile home on a large piece of land zoned for a trailer park. He wanted the new truck and our savings. I wanted the old trailer and the land. My ex and I have 2 girls, pre-tweens. Since my divorce, I slowly started buying old single-wides and restoring them, turning it into a business. I love it. My girls go to their dad's and affair partner's apartment every other weekend. I started noticing their clothes, electronics, and toys weren't coming home. At first, I thought their dad was keeping a few outfits there for them. However, my older one got upset when she was packing. I asked her what was wrong. She told me her dad takes her clothes and sells them online, and that she doesn't want to take her favorite shirt over there. I immediately called my ex. I asked him to return our daughter's clothes. Not wanting to throw my daughter under the bus, I blamed it on them not having enough for school. He played dumb. He said he got rid of the clothes that were too small. I pointed out that the jeans our younger one had were brand new. He then said that it was only fair that he got some cash because he owned the trailer and land. I wouldn't be doing this good if it weren't for him. I was angry. I took my daughters down to the dollar store and bought cheap shirts. I went to a thrift store and bought cheap shorts. We had a girls' tie-dye night. Hot pink everything. Each made 5 shirts and 5 bottoms. I let our girls design and decorate them. My girls loved it. The following week, X sends the girls home. I could tell he was mad, but he didn't say anything. The clothes were not returned. No fear, I knew this would be an issue. We made extras. When the girls went back, they were wearing tie-dye. They were with their dad for an hour before he called and demanded different clothes. I kindly told him that our daughters love those clothes. They really love tie-dye. X got even angrier and said his parents had a major family party and the girls couldn't wear pink tie-dye. I told him he should buy her the clothes if he didn't want to wear them. He called me an idiot for being petty. So, am I? Not the idiot. This is what I can't get my brain past. Literally stealing from his children? What in the world is wrong with that adult man? OP, as much as my petty little heart loves the way you creatively dealt with it while making it fun for your girls, you need to lawyer up and document every last piece that doesn't come back to you. That idiot has another thing coming if he thinks he can steal from you and his own children like a freeloader. My son's dad and his affair partner tried this when he was young. He wasn't selling them, he was just keeping getting new clothing and returning him in old, dirty, outgrown stuff his affair partner's kids used to wear and giving his son's stuff back to his affair partner's kid. I told him that wouldn't fly. What left this house comes back to this house with our son. His affair partner retaliated by dumping grape soda into my son's overnight bag, so I took him to court. The judge ordered he had to keep clothing and toys at his house, and what our son arrived with was what he returned with, and it had to be clean unless the visit was less than a day trip. Anything missing or damaged, he had to reimburse me for. Exactly. OP, you need to take this man to court. He's stealing from his children and doesn't care that it's causing them clear and understandable distress. What kind of parent sells their children's clothes off their backs because it was only fair that they got some cash? I'm worried that it could be for some adult substances. Either way, it might be worth talking to a lawyer about getting full custody. My dad stole my birthday money on my 8th birthday. All my friends came and each donated a little bit, and I put it in a money tin. When it was gone the next day, he denied it. Found out he spent it on gambling. So cruel. OP, keep a record of what goes over there and back. Then you can change the child support to show he's taking it back. Mighty bold of you to think that this man pays child support. If he's stealing clothes from his daughters to sell, I highly doubt he's paying child support. OP, if you can, please take him to court and give your kids the option of not visiting him as soon as you're legally able. My best friend, Anne, is getting married soon. She announced her engagement a year ago. When she first announced it, I was in the procedure of trying to lose weight. I was around 93 kilograms when she last saw me. Now I'm 61. We no longer live in the same town because I moved 6 months before she announced her engagement. So anyways, she asked me to be her bridesmaid not too long ago, and I accepted. Fast forward to my trip home. Everything goes to the dogs. When Anne saw me, she didn't seem too happy. Something was off as she barely even hugged me. She didn't say anything then, so I assumed I was reading into it. Later that day when we were getting lunch at a restaurant, she noticed I only got brown rice and a salad, and she commented on how I'd changed so much. I only laughed and told her that I was on a diet until I lost some more weight. This led to a rant from her about how she feels like the fat one of the two. We've been friends since high school, and she's had this thing where she'd treat me like I was a guy. It's weird to explain, but to put it simply, I'm 5'7" and she's barely 5 feet tall. Because of this height difference, I've always looked heavy next to her, and she took pleasure in that. She used to wear my clothes, commenting on how my t-shirt was a one-piece on her and how my hands were bigger than hers. And some days, she'd say that I looked like her mother because of how tall and fat I was. This always made me feel less feminine somehow and kind of ugly. However, now that I'd lost weight, I didn't look fat anymore, and she couldn't do any of those cutesy things. Her words, not mine. And that really hurt her. So I attempted to change the topic, but she kept circling back to that and then asked me if I'd lost the weight deliberately for her wedding. I told her I'd been trying to lose weight for a while before that, but her wedding was a good motivator for me. I wanted to look good at my best friend's wedding and feel more confident in a bridesmaid dress. Following that, she flat out accused me of trying to steal her thunder. She said that whenever I'd said I was going to try to lose weight, I'd relapse back to my old habits pretty quick, so she didn't think I was serious. She told me that I was trying to make her look like the ugly best friend. She then told me at one point that she was still prettier and daintier than me, and no matter how thin I got, she'd always be thinner. She added that because of this betrayal, she no longer felt comfortable having me as a bridesmaid and that I could attend as a guest instead. That stung a nerve, and I promptly left the restaurant and texted her later that night to tell her that I wasn't interested in attending her wedding. As a result, I've been getting messages from her and her mom. They say I've stressed her out, and I'm trying to guilt her by declining the invitation. Am I the idiot? Edit. In case my reasoning wasn't clear, I declined the invitation because I was starting to feel like I was only asked to be the bridesmaid to make her look better. And then she felt threatened and demoted me to a guest. Felt like I overestimated her and our friendship. This is called projection. She was literally only inviting you because she saw you as the ugly best friend to make her look better by comparison. To heck with her. She's an awful, superficial, rude idiot herself. I would tell her mother just what she said and then cut them both out of your life. She's not a friend at all. Not the idiot. Also, kudos on the new slimmer you. Cutesy things? The ugly best friend? The fat one? Steal her thunder? Because you lost weight and feel better? Lost weight deliberately for her wedding? Like it's a personal attack? How does she think everything is about her and about attacking her? This is not a friend. Even more a best friend. She should at least be happy that you felt better in your own skin. You did not guilt trip her. Your leaving is the direct consequence of her actions. Yeah, time to lose an additional 60 kilograms or whatever by ditching the idiot. She's not your friend. She always had you around just to make herself feel better. You were nothing more than an accessory. You do not need people like this in your life. I, 27 female, am pregnant with my first bio child by my husband Kyle, 29 male, and we're both super excited. I have a stepdaughter, Keelani, a young female child, who's my little best friend, and she truly sees me as her second mother figure, but still calls me by my name, not mom. We have 50-50 custody, with final legal decision-making rights because of harassment and crazy behavior from Keelani's mom, Eliza, 29. I always call Keelani the prettiest girl in the world. That's been our thing for years, but not in a conceited way. She's very nice to others and plays great with other kids. I just always want to boost her confidence. When I found out I was pregnant with a girl, I told Keelani her sister would be the prettiest girl in the world too, just like her, and she loved it. So she started saying it too. She came back from her mom's house the other day and said she's the prettiest girl in the world, and everyone is ugly. Her sister will be ugly too. I asked her why she would say that, and she said because it's true. I said she's not the prettiest girl in the world to everyone, and that every little girl is the prettiest girl in the world to their adults. I told her that she and her sister would be the prettiest girls in the world to me and her dad and mom, but only when she's a kind person. Right now she's being mean, and that's an ugly trait. She cried a little bit but seemed to take it well when her dad and I sat down with her later. The day she returned to her mom's house, I was met with many calls and messages on the parenting app, calling me an evil stepmother for calling Keelani ugly. I explained to her the context, but she said I was being cruel and Keelani's just a child. She's now telling my husband we need to go back to court. He's on my side and thinks we handled it well, but she's freaking out, and I did feel bad when Keelani started crying. Should I have handled that better? Am I the idiot? Edit. I started calling her the prettiest girl because she has confidence issues because of her skin color, and her hair isn't super long like some of her classmates. You are the idiot. Why are you saying pretty when it seems like you really just mean I love you? She's already begun associating prettiness with love, but now you've told her it was all a metaphor for being nice, but the other adults in her life disagree. How confusing for the poor kid. This could have all been avoided by actually complimenting her on specific qualities or behaviors rather than using pretty as a vague substitute for niceness or love. Kind, strong, smart, persistent, patient, brave, clever, etc. are traits she actually has control over and are not easily confused with superficial things like pretty that emphasize the perception of others. You are the idiot, and while you had good intentions, you went about it in the wrong way. Not the idiot. One of the hardest things as a grown-up is checking children when they're inconsiderate, rude, or mean to others. Maybe it could have been done more delicately. It's hard to tell when we didn't overhear the actual conversation. Maybe it's important to talk about how beauty's a part of how you act and not just physical features, as you did. Her bio mom has taken this as an opportunity to take your husband to court. I have a feeling that she would have found another excuse. Her bio mom seemingly got upset that the new baby would be called pretty too and caused this. I think you handled it like a champ, and so did your husband, who backed you up. You never said to her face that she was ugly. You said she was being mean and that it was an ugly trait, which it is. My son, pre-tween, is insanely picky. He won't eat almost everything. This started when he was around 5. He would come home from kindergarten with untouched lunches except for his yogurt and applesauce. We took him to the pediatrician, who said we needed to consult with a dietitian. While waiting for approval from our insurance, we tried different things to get our son to eat. Eventually, we figured out he would eat stuff like mashed potatoes and soup, anything he doesn't have to chew. So we just started accommodating that. We tried to make balanced meals, mixing soft vegetables into his mashed potatoes. We figured he'd grow out of this, but he never did. Finally, I got sick of making separate meals or eating pureed food every night, so I started bringing my son into the kitchen with me and teaching him to use a blender and other kitchen tools. Now my son makes his food almost every night I cook. My wife still makes separate meals for him. She says I'm an idiot for making him make his own food. I supervise him and help him with whatever he needs. I think he needs to know how to make his own stuff, because there's no way people will accommodate this throughout his life. We've been fighting about it more lately. Am I the idiot? Oh, and we never did figure out why he doesn't like chewing. The dietitian referred us elsewhere, and the insurance wouldn't pay, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Are you kidding me? Is this rage bait? Your son has extreme sensory issues that he can't eat regular food, and you think it doesn't matter why? He should somehow get over what is most likely some sort of neurodiversity? You are the idiot, and have you lost your mind? Do you think it's good parenting to just ignore that your kid only eats pureed food at his age? Food aversions are a thing, often related to other conditions that also call for treatment. There are therapists devoted to exploring these issues and finding solutions. Agree. You are the idiot for treating his food aversions as if it's something he's doing on purpose to be naughty. It sounds like a sensory issue to me, and you just can't brush it under the carpet because chances are that food might not be the only thing he'll struggle with in his life. He needs help and support, and you need to get educated by a professional on how to help your son. Poor you, OP. That's too much for you? It doesn't matter, as long as you can minimize the impact it has on you. If you can't afford medical assessment, do some research. Many nonprofit organizations and parent-led support groups can help you get started for free. So step up and start parenting. I work in finance. I'm sure many people will hate me already, but that's my career. My job is in acquisitions. My team and I were in the process of acquiring a huge investment from a rather important organization. This was especially needed because the global issue slump hit us pretty hard, and my organization had to eliminate people in the process. We got this investment after almost 2 years of what I like to call begging, but it worked. And once everything was checked, I got a nice bonus as a reward. Now, I'm doing pretty well, so the bonus wasn't a lifesaver because my student loans have been paid off and my house will be paid off pretty soon. But a bonus is a bonus, and it felt good to be appreciated for my effort. The story. When I told my girlfriend, who's also on my team, about our bonuses, she was pretty happy but said to me that because she doesn't have any loans or anything, she was going to donate all of it to a charity. My response was to tell her that she was very generous for it, and I was proud of her. She then asked me what I was going to do with mine, and I said I was going to buy a new car. She wasn't pleased about this, and since we got our bonuses, she's been pestering me to donate all or a large part of it to charity. I have no problems with donations, but I wanted to splurge after slogging for years, paying off my home and student loans, so I was adamant about my decision. And well, yesterday I signed off on my new car. My girlfriend has been very angry ever since, and has also gotten her friends and some of mine to get me to sell the car back and donate the money. Am I the idiot? I may be the idiot because I understand that money is important, especially today when poor people don't stand a chance in life. So maybe I should have donated most of it and splurged the rest instead. Not the idiot. No one should ever feel forced or pressured into donating to a charity. It should be up to you what you do with your money. She can do whatever she wants with her money. She can't control what you do with yours. I'm seeing a red flag with her getting her friends to pressure you. Bro, it's your money you worked hard for. If you have some money left, then donate it. I don't understand why she's getting mad at you for splurging on yourself when you spent the whole pandemic high heat, paying off loans, and focusing on staying at your job. If anything, don't let her or your friends in the car. Honestly, the fact that she's angry with you about this and harnessing not only her friends but yours to harass you about this makes me concerned she's not simply short-sighted and immature, but potentially diagnosable narcissistic. The fact that you're expressing self-doubt and guilt in your edit reinforces the concern you're being emotionally abused. Not the idiot, only because nobody has a right to tell you what to do with your money. But I prefer to live in a society where wealthy idiots like you get taxed high enough that it pays for social programs that can prevent poverty, so we don't need charity.